My name is Dawn, and in July of 2015, I had an AVM, which is a brain hemorrhage. When I woke up after my surgery, I couldn't even move, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't even lift my head off the pillow. So I went through months of rehab and physio and learned how to do the simplest things all over again. I learned how to walk, I learned how to speak properly. It was a hard journey, but I'm very stubborn and I was bound and determined I was going to do this. When I got released out of the hospital, I was in a wheelchair and in a walker, and I still felt that it would take me days to get over this. And I was frustrated with myself because there were so many things I still couldn't do. I remember going to see my general doctor, and I was telling him that I still can't do this and I still can't do that, and I was upset figuring I would bounce back to be 100% of the person I was before my injury. And he had told me, he said, has anybody ever told you that you may never be the same again? And I said no, and he said, well, I'm telling you that. Well, that upset me to no end. So I remember calling my son and telling my son that I still couldn't do this, and this is what the doctor said, and that was just against my way of thinking because I was sure that I was going to be fine. So he stopped me and he said, Mom, stop. And he said, start thinking about where you are today and where you were a couple of months ago. And he said, you've come such a long way. And he said, the most important thing is you're here. And you weren't supposed to make it, but you did. So I thought about that, and I went home and I thought, you know, I have to do something for myself and I have to do something for my family, and that's acceptance. So I went online. I had no idea that there was an association that was called the Manitoba Brain Injury Association. I found them and I thought, okay, let's give it a try and see what this is all about, because I felt I needed some help. So I called them and I went to a couple of meetings, and I was amazed to find that I'm not alone. There's people out there that have the same problems I do. Some of them are better, some of them are worse. But there's a few people that I met that really helped me deal with, I guess, living with a brain injury. And they were very truthful to me. And one of the things that was said to me is, you will never be the same person you were before your injury. And that, to me, was probably the most powerful thing that somebody could say to me, because I didn't want to think it's like having minor surgery and you bounce back and you'll be 100%, because that's not the case. I think the most important thing having a brain injury is acceptance. Accepting the person who you are today, accepting your limitations, but also being thankful for what you can do. There was a meeting that I went to at one point, and it was really hard for me to keep talking about my story all the time, because it's like picking on a scab. It just opens up the wounds all the time. So I said to this other person that we go to the meetings that this was my last meeting because it was too hard for me and I wasn't going to do it anymore. So he said, that's fine. So I went to the meeting, and at the end of that meeting, there were two ladies that came up to me in a wheelchair, and they were crying, and they said, I can't believe that you started out where we are, in a wheelchair. And I said, yes, I did. They thanked me over and over again for sharing my story and helping them, giving them hope. So when I left Riverview that day, I thought, you know, I can't not do this. I need to share my story, because if I can reach anybody out there, this is something that I want to do. So I continue to do the meetings at Riverview, and we're opening up a support group in Selkirk, which I think is so important, because there are so many people in the Selkirk and Interlake area that have brain injuries that really need to come out and just share their experiences, get it off their chest, just talk about things, because you do feel better once you get it out and you start learning other people live with it too and how to live with it. having a brain injury is not the rest. It's not the end of your life, because there is life after a brain injury, and the support that you get from the Manitoba Brain Injury and the people that go there is amazing, and that's helped me live through having my injury. So I support everybody, and I encourage everybody to come out and just come out to our support groups and share with us and learn as much as you can, because it really helps. Thank you.